the Granville GB Z40 and Granville GB Model R Super Sportster, two of the most famous vintage airplanes, which were known as very speedy and high-performance racing planes in the 1930s. Both of these aircraft were part of the Granville Brothers' efforts to create cutting-edge racing planes that could excel in air racing competitions of their time. Their designs were characterized by their distinctive shapes, high speeds, and in some cases, challenging flight characteristics. But how do they differ from each other? What makes one better than the other? You might be surprised to know what I'm going to tell you about them. So stay tuned and let's begin. The Granville GB Z40 was a racing aircraft exclusively built for the 1932 American Cirrus Derby. It was a small, streamlined plane with a distinctive barrel-shaped fuselage and a powerful engine. This plane is like a cool piece of history that's full of stories. It had a super strong engine and a round, chubby body that made it look a bit like a bumblebee, so cute and unique. And when it flew, its big wings helped it do awesome tricks in the air, like loops and turns. People used to paint it in flashy red colors, making it stand out like a superstar at air shows. The Model R Sportster had a more refined design and featured a smaller, more powerful engine. This aircraft also participated in many air racing events and set several speed records. This airplane has a special place in history for its unique design and exciting performance. Picture a plane that's like a flying acrobat, showing off its cool moves up in the sky. With its sleek body and distinctive wings, the Sportster was known for its agile maneuvers and impressive feats. The last GB Model R was retired from racing in 1935. Today, there are only two surviving GB Model Rs, both of which are on display in museums. Now let's compare the specs and performance of both aircraft. Number 1. Engine. Both Z40 and Model R were powered by Pratt & Whitney Wasp engines. Pratt & Whitney engines were quite famous at that time for being really strong and reliable. Z40 was equipped with Pratt & Whitney R985 Wasp Jr., a supercharged radial engine producing 535 horsepower, while Model R was equipped with Pratt & Whitney R1340 Wasp, producing about 750 horsepower, making it more powerful and more speedy than the Z40. Number 2. Wingspan. The wingspan of both the GB Z40 and Model R Super Sportster is 26 feet. The wingspan is an important factor in determining the aircraft's lift and drag. The greater the wingspan, the more lift the aircraft will generate, but the more drag it will also create. The Z40 and Super Sportster were both designed to be as fast as possible, so they have a relatively large wingspan to generate as much lift as possible. They were also made lightweight to minimize drag. This combination of a large wingspan and a lightweight made them very fast and agile aircraft. However, the large wingspan also made them difficult to control at high speeds, and this contributed to the number of crashes that these aircraft experienced. I'll also tell you about the worst ones, so stay tuned. Number 3. Body design. The body design of the Z40 and Super Sportster are very similar, but there are some key differences. The Z40 has a more rounded fuselage, while the GB Model R has a more teardrop-shaped fuselage. This is because the Model R was designed with a number of aerodynamic improvements over the Z40, including a teardrop-shaped fuselage and a more streamlined tail. These improvements help to make the Model R even faster and more agile. Another difference is the location of the cockpit. The cockpit of the Z40 is located in the center of the fuselage, while the cockpit of the Model R is located further back, just in front of the vertical stabilizer. This was done to give the pilot better vision while making tight pylon turns. Finally, the GB Model R has a more streamlined tail than the Z40. This is because the Model R was designed to be as fast as possible, and a streamlined tail helps to reduce drag. Number 4. Cockpit. The cockpit of the Granville GB Z40 was very cramped and basic. The pilot sat in a bucket seat with minimal padding. The instrument panel was small and simple, with only the essential gauges and controls. There was no radio or navigation equipment. The only windows are small portholes on the sides of the fuselage. The cockpit of the Model R is slightly more spacious and comfortable than the Z40, but it is still very basic, no headrest, and no armor or protection from the elements. However, it has larger windows that provide better visibility. Another difference is the location of the instruments. The instruments in the Z40 are located in a panel in front of the pilot. The instruments in the Model R are located in the same panel, but they are mainly located on the sides of the fuselage, which gives the pilot better visibility. Number 5. Flying range. The flying range of the Z40 is 780 miles, while the Model R has a flying range of 925 miles. This can be simply explained by the engines and fuel capacity of both planes. The Z40's engine produces 535 horsepower and has a fuel capacity of 100 gallons. Super Sportster's engine produces 750 horsepower and has a fuel capacity of 125 gallons. A smaller fuel tank makes the Z40 lighter but still offers a small range. The Model R has a heavier fuel tank but also has a more powerful engine, which burns the fuel more quickly and gains more speed, which makes it able to cover more distance in a shorter amount of time. This range difference also explains the difference in speeds of both aircraft. The Z40 has a top speed of 267 miles per hour, while the Model R has a top speed of 296 miles per hour. So, how are these planes as air racers? The Z40 won the Thompson Trophy in 1931, and it also won a number of other races, including the Bendix Trophy and the Shell Speed Dash. The Model R Super Sportster was a very successful racing aircraft, winning the Thompson Trophy race in 1932 and setting a new world land plane speed record in 1933. The Model R was also very successful in other air races, including the Cleveland Air Races and the Bendix Trophy race. It was one of the fastest and most agile racing aircraft of its time, and it helped to make the Granville Brothers aircraft a major player in the racing world. Unfortunately, due to the lack of cutting-edge technology that we have today, the Z40 and the Model R were both involved in a number of fatal accidents. The Z40 was involved in 7 fatal accidents, while the Model R was involved in 5 fatal accidents. The most famous accident involving the Z40 was the crash of Lowell Bales on December 5, 1931. Bales was attempting to set a new world speed record when his aircraft crashed at an air show in Cleveland, Ohio. Bales was killed in the crash. Hubert LeBlanc was killed in the final fatal accident of a GB Model R on September 29, 1934, during the Thompson Trophy race in Cleveland, Ohio. He was leading the race when he crashed and was killed. The high number of fatal accidents involving the GB Z40 and Model R led to their reputation as killer aircraft. The aircraft were known for being difficult to fly, and they were often flown at the edge of their performance envelope. This made them susceptible to accidents, especially at high speeds. And there you have it, the Z40's speed-loving design to the Super Sportster's graceful tricks in the sky. These planes remind us that flying is both science and art. What do you think about these two? Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more aviation adventures.